Welcome back. Are you guys ready for Chapter 6? Chapter 6 is Wheat Isn't All It's Cracked Up to Be. But hey, before we dive into Chapter 6, remember to subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, and hit that alert bell for us. Really important for you guys to continue to help us grow. We appreciate all of your help and support. The quote for Chapter 6, does history record any case in which the majority was right? Here's our lie for Chapter 6. Wheat is healthy food that is very good for your body, and everyone should eat multiple servings of whole wheat foods every day. That's our lie for Chapter 6. Section about why do we care? Well, I read all of this and I'm going to sum it up a little bit. If a food is healthy for you, then we really want to know about it. Or we want to know how much wheat is good for us versus the amount society and corporation tells us that we should be consuming on a daily basis. So that's why it's important. In the section, support for the lie, what we're talking about here, endorsement of the wheat as a health food is akin to a religious belief when it comes to government and medical agencies, and of course the food industry. There's what he says in this section is there's really no hard evidence to prove that it's good for you. And nobody's done any research, but it's become a religious belief all through the industry. The religious belief that wheat is healthy for you, and they're not willing to take another look at it and to evaluate it because they believe it so strongly. All right, so now we're in the common sense section. The common sense kind of tells us, hey, wheat would be good for us because it's a plant and it grows from the ground, from the earth. It's been around forever, so it's probably good for us. But as we all know, there's a lot of plants that grow from the ground that are toxic and poisonous to humans. And that's the point he's kind of making. Just because it comes from the earth doesn't mean it's automatically good for you. It has to be evaluated, one, whether it is truly good for you and or in what quantities and levels. In our research section, what he's talking about, there are really no meaningful research that has ever been done on the subject of whole wheat. What he's pointing out in this and wants us to get to understand is, just because we're exposed to a food, a plant, or an ingredient, and we get no short-term negative effect, that really doesn't mean that there's not a long-term negative effect. And that's what he's pointing out. On the short term, we eat wheat, nothing happens to us, right? All good. But what's the long-term effect over years of eating wheat? And he addresses the argument about, hey, whole wheat is healthier than processed wheat. Well, I think logically everything is healthier if it's non-processed. But he says the argument that whole wheat is healthier than processed wheat is exactly like the story about the research study comparing unfiltered and filtered cigarettes back in Chapter 2. Just because something is healthier doesn't make it healthy. So what's the problem? He goes on to tell us the glycemic index of bread, whether it's whole wheat or not, is higher than that of 1 tablespoon of sugar. This means that eating 2 slices of bread will make your blood sugar increase faster than eating a spoonful of pure sugar. Wow. He does have a really good breakdown chart of the glycemic index on this page. Be very interesting. So if wheat converts into sugar very easily, what he wants us to know and understand that wheat has been inundated in our whole entire food industry for everything we eat. From morning, noon to night, we're consuming wheat in one form or another. Processed, processed, however it may be, there's wheat in almost everything. In our section, Do As I Do, he says, look, you gotta love, like if pizza's the only option, what you do is you eat the toppings. The funny thing is, I find myself, when I eat pizza, I take 1 or 2 bites of the crust, unless it's thin crust, as I love that. But I just eat the toppings. I'm not a big bread eater when it comes to that. So I'm kind of happy about that. So he says, when you're out to dinner, do as I do. When you order the biscotti and meatballs, just get the meatballs without the biscotti. Sometimes, he says, I do eat occasional treat for something containing wheat, but I am fully aware that that's what that is, that it is a treat, a one-time thing. It isn't real food for nourishing my body. It's not part of his health overall plan. It's deviation from the plan. His homework assignments are apparently going to take most of the doctors decades or two to catch up on their reading when it comes to wheat and its negative effect on the human health. So he has a couple books for us to read. Book number 1, Wheat Belly, Lose the Wheat, Lose the Weight, and Find your path back to health. Book number 2, Grain Brain, The Surprising Truth About Wheat, Carbs, Sugars, Your Brain's Silent Killer. Well, folks, thanks again. That was chapter 6, and join me for chapter 7.